This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, Agun Erev Shabbos Rabbi Isai. Welcome everyone as we prepare for Parshas Eikev. Haba Aleinu L'Tova. So we have in the beginning of the Parsha some of the fundamental psukim of the basic obligations of a Yid. V'yato Yisrael, and now Israel, Mo Hashem Elokecha Shayil Me'imach. What does your God ask of you? Ki, only, im, liyiras Hashem Elokecha, just fear Him. Yeah. L'leches v'chol d'rachav, just walk in all of His ways. U'li'ava Yisai, just love Him. V'laveidas Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha, serve Hashem your God with all your heart and all your soul. Lishmar es mitzvos Hashem v'eschul koisav, and to guard the mitzvos of Hashem and His statutes. Asher anochi mitzavcha hayom. What does your God ask you? All you need to do is give Him everything you have. Right? And the Gemara is prompted to ask, Atu yira milsa zachusahi, is fear a small thing? The Gemara could have said not just fear. Is following the ways of God, loving Hashem, serving Him, and fulfilling all the mitzvahs a small thing? It's almost an impossible question to answer. All God asks of you is do everything. Don't leave an iota of your heart for yourself. Give it all to God. But here we come to the fundamental misunderstanding of how to read this pasuk. L'toiv lach, and it will be good for you. So many mistakenly read it like this. What does God ask of you? Everything. And by the way, if you do everything, it will be good for you. Wrong. That's not how you read the pasuk. You read, says Ramban, Nimshach el l'toiv lach. Ma Hashem Elokecha shayil me'imach. Nimshach el l'toiv lach. What does God ask of you so that it should be good for you? Meaning everything God asks of you is for your benefit, not His. It's all for you. Everything you think you're doing for God, God's saying, not doing me any favors. You're doing it for yourself. I ask of this of you so it should be good for you. All of the things God asks of us, He only asks it of us, so it should be good for us. Like Chazal say, Loiba b'chunya im b'riyos. Hashem's not looking to bust your chops. Whatever He wants you to do, so it should be good for you. You don't want to do it. You don't want to have a good life, so don't have a good life. But don't blame me. You chose to have a bad life, not me. I ask everything of you for your benefit. Says Ramban, Yoimar, inenu sho me'imach davar sheyeh l'tzarka. He doesn't ask anything of you that should be for him, ela l'tzarkacha, but rather it should be for you. Ketam im tzadakt ma titen lai. As it says in Tanakh, if you are righteous, what does it give to him? Rak hakol hu l'toiv lach. It's all to be good for you. Like the pasuk says, God owns the heavens and the heavens of the heavens. God owns everything. You're not going to add anything for Him. So this is a fundamental understanding of this pasuk. That these 5 things that the Mesos Hashem calls the big 5. You know, I was in South Africa. There they have a different definition of the big 5. What are the big 5? Elephants, giraffes, rhinos, cheetah, maybe zebra, I'm not sure. I forgot. Okay, you'll have to, Mechila, I don't remember but the Mesos Hashem says the big 5 in Judaism: fear God, chesed, love God, serve God with all your heart, keep all the mitzvahs. God only asks it of you for your benefit. But now we're going to learn a different interpretation of this pasuk. Tanya haya Rabbi Meir oimer. We learned in a brayso Rabbi Meir would say, Chayiv adam levarech mea brachos b'chol yom. A person is obligated to make 100 blessings a day. Shenemar V'yato Yisrael ma Hashem Elokecha shayil me'imach. And now Klal Yisrael, what does Hashem ask of you? From here we learn all God asks of you is 100 times a day to thank Him. Right? This is the famous Gemara, the statement of Rabbi Meir. A person is obligated to make 100 blessings a day. So the question is, first of all, we could ask, 100 blessings a day? My goodness. It's a lot of brachos. That's all Hashem asks of you? Imagine if I told you, all I want you to do is wash my car 100 times a day. That's a lot of washing my cars. Once isn't enough, twice isn't enough. After 17 times, it's not enough. That's a lot. Meaning if we're going to read it, and now Israel, all the Lord asked of you is 100 blessings, that's all. You could also ask, is that a small order? And the second question is, from where in this pasuk do we see anything about 100 blessings every day? So it's well known, and Rashi is quoted as to say, that we read the word ma as if it said meya. Like the way Tosfos quotes Rashi, al tikri ma ela meya. So you'll ask, well, wait a second. It doesn't say meya, it says ma. Imagine if you had to go into a store and you had to pay for a bar mitzvah, so you handed the guy $100. So the guy says, you're just missing a zero. Al tikri 100, ever 1,000, right? Is that going to go over well? Could you make a payment like that? Al tikri, just add a zero. But we know, Rabbi Yosef Engel writes, when it comes to gematria, what? It can be off by one. Putting in an aleph is still in the category of being off by one. Now I'm going to tell you something that I don't know why it's not so well known. The pshat of Tosfos in this pasuk. Says Tosfos, you know how we know you have to make meya brachas b'chol yom? Count the letters in this pasuk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 49, 50, 51, 52, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 100. Ah! There are 100 ois in this pasuk. As a raya, you have to make 100 brachas b'chol yom. So you'll ask, Rabbi, you fooled me because I counted also, and I only saw 99. There are only 99 letters in this pasuk. The answer is the same thing Rashi would say. You're allowed to be off by one. So this is another remez to 100 brachas b'chol yom. By the way, there's an amazing Rambam. The Rambam says there are 3 types of brachas. Brachas of hana, brachas of mitzvah, and brachas of haidah. Why so many brachas? In order to remember Hashem always and to fear Him. Well, says Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky, how beautiful it is that the source of making brachas of is Ma Hashem Elokecha Shem Eimach Kiyim Liyira. You know why you have meya brachas? Kiyim Liyira, as the Rambam says. The purpose of the brachas is to fear the Ribono Shel Olam. But be it as it may, what we're going to add today is in a very important understanding. And that is the same way when we were discussing the big 5, the 5 things that a person always has to do. That the Ribono Shel Olam says, why is God asking us to fear, love, and cling to Him? Why? You with me? Why? No? L'toivlach! It's for you, it's not for me. The same thing for 100 brachas. Says Ribono Shel Olam, we would have to read it as follows. You know why I'm asking you to make so many brachas? It ain't for me. Who is it for? It's for your benefit. So what we're going to go through today is to give a few examples of how making brachos properly is not for God's benefit. It's for our benefit. That each bracha comes along with it a blessing for us. It's all about what we're in. We're in it for ourselves. God says, I don't need you. You want to mumble a bracha? Fine. You're not going to have any money. You're not going to have health. All these brachas are a way of accessing rachamei shamayim. Each particular bracha is connected to a different type of bracha the Ribono Shel Olam gives us. So let's start with brachas hamazon, and this is something we spoke out Monday. The famous Kabbalah of the Sefer HaChinuch in Mitzvah Taf Lamed, number 6 on your sheet, says the Sefer HaChinuch, Kach mekubal ani miraboisai. I have the following tradition from my Rabbeim, Yishmereim Kel, Shekal HaZoher beverchas hamazon, anyone who is careful in benching, Mezaynoisav Metsuyin Lai Bekavod Kol Yamav. His mezaynos will be available to him his whole life, Bekavod. He'll have parnasa Bekavod. So before we do anything, let's just point out. So who the Ribono Shel Olam is asking us to bench? For him or for us? So here we have a promise of the Sefer HaChinuch. If somebody is careful to bench properly, with kavana, thinking about the meaning of the words, saying the words clearly, slowly, the Ribono Shel Olam says that is a source, as a schus, for parnasa b'kavod. So you say, where does the Sefer HaChinuch get this from? There's a beautiful Zohar in Parshas Vayakel. The Zayar says, Man de mevarech l'kutchabrichu migoy sava. One who blesses God when they're satisfied, boy lechavno libe, needs to have kavana. Uleshava ru'use bechedva, and to place his friendship with joy. V'layishtekach atzav, and not have sadness. Elo divorech bechedva berazada, he should bless with a secret. Uleshava ru'use, and to give friendship to ha'iu yav hashel achra bechedva. If a person benches with happiness and with a good eye, God gives them generously and with a good eye. If a person benches b'simcha of a tovlev, God repays in that way as well. Comes the chida. We actually mentioned this chida on Monday as well, but here we have it in its original source. And the Nitzutze Oiros says the chida, by the way, at a meal you're going to like this one. You owe me big time for this one. You should always try to eat something and drink something that makes you happy, to be able to say a bracha achroin or a bracha samazon b'simcha. Your wife said, "You're not allowed to eat this. You're on a diet." No, the rabbi said, "I have to eat this in order to."
When would that happen?
Okay, you could show her. It's in the commentary of the Chida on the Zayar. He says, "Yoichal v'yishta davar amasamchay kedei sheyavarich b'so." She'll say, but it could be low fat. No, I don't have the same simcha. V'zu skula l'hisasher. It's a skula to become wealthy. You tell your wife, "I would like the cream cake." You can't eat that. No. We need to. The financial advisor said that we need to. Okay? And in fact, the Chidar says there's a remez in the Pasuk in Mishlei. It says, Birchas Hashem hitashir. The blessing of God will make you wealthy. What blessing do we have that's the blessing of God? Birchas Hamazayin. Birchas Hashem, the blessing of God, ta'ashir. It is a skula for wealth. We also mentioned from the Reikeach that all the letters of the Hebrew alphabet appear in Birchas Hamazayin. Aleph, Beis, Gimel, all the enda letters, Mem, Nun, Tzadik, final Chaf. There's one exception. There's only one letter that does not appear in Birchas Hamazayin, and that is the final Pei. Because the final Pei denotes and is connected to all bad things. Shetzef, Ketzef, Af, Anaf. Every word for anger and fierce anger has a final Pei in it. Therefore, says Reikeach, there is no final pay in Birchas Hamazon because anyone who benches with kavana is protected from all evil. Says Rebbe Sham, I ask you to make 100 brachas a day. For me? It's for you. You want to have good parnasa? You want to have generous parnasa? You want to have ashirus? You want to be protected from af, shetzef, ketzef, and anaf? The Birchas Hamazon, it's l'toiv lach. It's not l'toiv li. Hashem doesn't say, I'm asking you to do all these favors li. I'm asking you to do these things lach, for you. The Eliyah Rabbah brings down that the Shulchan Aruch says in Siman Kuf Pei Sif Gimel that one should say Birchas Hamazon b'kol ram. And the question is why? Why should you say it out loud? And the first pshat is, well, in case you need to be mitzi someone. Okay, obviously, you're going to have to say it. But then he says, no, you should always bench out loud, because saying something out loud is ma'ira your kavana, and it helps you remember. So for instance, if it's a tainus, you'll remember to say anini in benching, right? Okay, there's a joke. If it's Rosh Chodesh, you'll remember to say Yalav Yavai in benching. Says in Mishnah Berurah, the Medaktikim are careful to bench from a sefer and not Baal Peh, and it's brought in the Sefer Chasidim. There's a story about someone who passed away and revealed himself in a dream to one of his relatives, and the guy says, look, it's not good up here in Shemayim. So the living relative said, what's wrong? Every day they're judging me because I didn't make brachos b'kavana. So therefore, it's never too late. Even if a person is 119 years old and they never said a bracha with kavana in their life, it's not a problem. You just do tshuva. You say, Ribono Shel Olam, I didn't say brachas properly, I feel bad about it. From now on, I have one more bracha left in my life, I'm going to say b'kavana. All the brachas you ever made are transformed into zechuyos. So, that's what we're learning today. That a person should realize that the tremendous bracha that is latent in Berachas Hamazon, it's a bracha, as the Sefer HaChinuch says, for Ashirus, for Parnasa, to be protected, as the Rekach says, from Af, Shetzef, Ketzef, Anaf, and by doing so, it's a tremendous chus for a person. Let's move on to the next bracha. Asher Yatzar. So on many of the Asher Yatzar charts, and I feel bad saying this, it says that the Seder Hayoim gives a promise that if you say Asher Yatzar b'kavana, you'll never need a doctor. Could be he says it, but the place that they quote that he says it, I don't think he's saying. But the good news is I found other people who say it. But what is generally quoted as the skula not to need a doctor, you know what? I'll ask your opinion on it. The Seder Hayom was written by Rabbi Moshe ben Machir, a Talmud Arizal. He says as follows: V'im ha'adam yiyashalem b'deyosav, if a person is complete in their mind, meaning if a person opinions are and attitudes are correct, umechalkel b'mishpat dvarav, and guides their affairs in this world with justice, la yechle kol yamav, will never get sick. Basically, if you live a healthy life, healthy lifestyle, you won't get sick. You won't need a doctor. You won't need medicine. That we could all agree to. If you live healthy, you won't get sick in the first place. Therefore, says the Seder Hayom, v'yimkein vaday roi levarech b'kavana gemura, you should daven with complete kavana, uvedash shleima, and with a whole mind, l'roife kol ba'asar u'mafli l'asos, that the Rebbe Hashem should keep you healthy.
Maybe you have a job.
V'chein roi, don't worry. V'chein roi l'chol ba'al nefesh, there'll always be people. They don't come to the Shiur. Look how many people are in the Shiur. It's for the other people, maybe for Umay Soilam. Yeah? V'chein roi l'chol ba'al nefesh, every man of soul, it is appropriate for them, l'chavein kol berachos of kadin, to be mechavein all their blessings properly, v'kashura, b'nachas gently, uvedash shlema, umi berchoisav shal adam nikar mativai. The way a person makes a bracha, we could recognize what type of person they are. Im talmid chachamhu, v'yirei shamayim, if they're learned and God-fearing, im sachalhu, or if they're a absolute fool. So you want to know, how do we determine the value of a person? Watch how they make a bracha. If they murmur and they stumble, mumble the bracha, then they ain't doing well. If they say it properly, then it's a siman that there's substance to them. I don't think that it's clear from the Seder Hayom that he's saying that if you make Asher Yatzar b'kavana, one will never get ill. It seems to be what he's saying is that if a person's systems are operating correctly, then they will never get ill, and therefore you should say Asher Yatzar as a tefillah that your systems will operate correctly. So he's certainly saying that Asher Yatzar is a tefillah that things should work well, but not that it's clear that it's some type of skula that one will never need a doctor, but it is true. Because there are a number of sources that we have a tradition that it is a skula. For example, we spoke about Reb Chaim Na this morning. In the Sefer Tefillah Kihilchasa, brought in the Sefer Asher Yatzar, B'kavana, maybe we'll have a shiur one time. Yeah, there's a Sefer called Asher Yatzar B'kavana. Maybe we'll have a shiur on that topic sometime soon. That he brings from Hagoin Reb Shimon Menashe Chaikin, the Rosh Bezdin of the Ashkenazim in Chevron, that the koyach of Asher Yatzar is such that it can be merape cholim from machlois kashos. That even a person has a dreaded disease and a terrible disease, if they're careful to say Asher Yatzar b'kavana, but oirach nisi can miraculously cure a person. Therefore, if someone is searching for a refuah for their machla, they should be makbid to be mavarech Asher Yatzar b'diktuk, b'kavana, uvemesinos, and slowly. And if you're saying it in the zchus of chayla, you should have in mind their name before you say the bracha. Actually, he brings here from the Stipler that for this skula to be more effective, you should say Asher Yatzar from a siddur. And even better, says the Stipler, put your finger on the words as you're saying Yishur. This is a very powerful skula that you shouldn't need a doctor. Now, don't tell any of this to anybody. You don't want insurance rates to be affected by this. This is just between me and you. But look, doctors are nice people, but it's always better to see them in shul than to see them in the office, you know? So, this is also, says Rebbe Shem, I ask you to make 100 brachas a day, Asher Yatzar. I'm doing it for me or I'm doing it for you? It's for you. It's for your benefit. Asher Yatzar is for your benefit. In fact, amazingly, we have over here, from the Sefer of the memoirs of Reb Shimon Schwab, he says, Baranovich today is like a code word for Rabbi Chanan Wasserman, the Talmud Muvak of the Chavetz Chaim, the Rosh Hashiva of Oyel Torah. Says Rabbi Shimon Schwab, I saw Rabbi Chanan a few times when he said an Asher Yatzar. When Rabbi Chanan said an Asher Yatzar, it's like people davening Ne'ilah. That's how he said an Asher Yatzar. He would say Asher Yatzar like an average Yid davens Ne'ilah. Let's go on to Birchas HaTorah. Tell me if you've ever experienced the following. You come home. What did you learn today? Oh, I heard a great shiur. What was it about? Not exactly sure. I don't quite remember what it was about, but it was a great shiur. You ever forget what you learned? Says the Noida Behuda, Rabbi Cheska Landau. Uladaiti, in my opinion, Birchas HaTorah, Hiskula Nifla Shela Yishkach Masha Yilmoid. It's a tremendous skula not to forget what you learn. Amazing thing. Tremendous skula not to forget what you learn. Coming from the Noida Behuda. In the Sefer Marpei Lashon, Rabbi Frol Hamburg, he says, Birchas HaTorah B'Kavana Haruya is a skula nifla shela yamush Sefer HaTorah mimenu umizaroi, that the Torah should never leave your family, that the members of your family will always be loimdei Torah, because if you pour out your heart before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that your offspring should be loimdei Torah ad soif kol hadoros, and you show that the Torah is chashuv in your eyes, you'll be zoicha that your descendants will all be loimdei Torah. In fact, I found an incredible thing. I didn't even know who it was from. Honestly, I gave this shir last night and I said it over, but I didn't even know who it was from. I found in a Sefer Silei Zeisim from Reb David Mizrachi, or Misraki. He's called the Mahardam, one of the Teimani Poiskim. He lived from 1696 to 1771. He said you should be mechavein when you say Birchas HaTorah, v'hiskula beduka umenusa. It is a tried and tested skula bizmanenu in our times. Lami she'enoi matzliach b'chinuch banav. If you're having a hard time raising your kids, the following works every time. Say Birchas HaTorah b'kavana. Try it. Says Rebbe Sham, I ask you to make 100 brachas a day. For me? Or for you? It's for you. You want to have parnasa b'revach. You want to have generous parnas. You want to be protected from anaf and agaf. You want to have ashirus? Say Birchas HaMazon b'kavana. You want to avoid the doctors? Say Asher Yatzar b'kavana. You want to remember your learning? Birchas HaTorah. You want to have good children? Birchas HaTorah. It ain't for me. Ma Hashem Elokecha shoyel me'imach l'toiv lach. It's for your benefit, not for my benefit. And you could rest assured every single bracha carries with it some type of bracha. You know why you have 100 brachas a day? Hashem says, at least I want to give you 100 brachas a day. It's not for me. You ain't doing anything for me. It's all for you. Let's read a fantastic Rabbeinu B'chai. So basically, it comes out that we're making brachos to get brachos, right? It's all selfish. It's all what's in it for us. Says Rabbeinu B'chai. You know, at the end of Parshas Emor, a very disturbing incident is reported in the Torah. The Torah tells us about the son of a Jewish woman whose name was Shlomis Bas Divri, whose father was an Egyptian man, and this guy violated Shlomis in Mitzrayim, and this kid was born from that union. And he got very angry. What he got angry about? Is he a Yid or a guy? He's a Yid, his mother's Jewish. The problem is he needs land. And where do you pitch your tent? Among your Shevet. Whose Shevet is he from? Well, his mother is from Shevet Dan. The problem is, in Judaism, the Shevet follows the father, so really he doesn't belong to anyone. So he pitches his tent among Shevet Dan. And what do they tell him? Get lost, go fly a kite, adios amigo, get out of here, you don't belong here. Your mother, it comes from Shevadan, your father's a guy. He got so angry, he pronounced the name of Hashem, and he cursed it, and we stoned him to death. Comes Rabbeinu Bechaye, student of the Rajba of Saragossa, Spain. And he says, why in the world does the Torah need to record this? We need to write for all posterity that a guy had the chutzpah to say Hashem's name and to curse it. Throw it under the rug. Why do we need to know that somebody did this? To teach me a halacha that if someone curses the name of Hashem, they're chayiv misa. So right, that if someone is makalo shem aleikav, sakal yiskaleno, he gets stoned. But I need to know that someone did it. Says Rabbeinu Bechaye, the Torah is teaching me a fundamental lesson. Think about what this guy did. He pronounced the name of Hashem, he thought about it, he said it clearly, and he gave it a klala, and he was punished with death. Now we know the same way that Rebbe Hashem punishes, he rewards. And the system of reward and the ratio is much greater. The ratio of reward to punishment is much greater. How much greater is the ratio of reward to punishment? 500 to 1. How do we know that? Because Hashem punishes 4 generations and He rewards 2,000 generations, right? So we see that the ratio of reward to punishment is 500 to 1. If this is the punishment of somebody who pronounced God's name clearly and gave it a klala, let's extrapolate and figure out how much greater will the reward be if somebody pronounces the name of Hashem clearly and says a bracha. One bracha. One shahako b'kavana. Take what the punishment that this guy was given and extrapolate 500 times greater. That's the reward in store for a person who makes one bracha b'kavana. The reason why the Torah wrote the incident of the Mekalel is to teach the schar of someone who says one bracha b'kavana. Marv Rabbi Sai, Hashem tells Klal Yisrael, Meya Hashem Shalom Meimach. I ask you to make 100 brachas a day. For me, it's all for you. You want money, you want health, you want good children, you want olam haba. Just make your brachas properly. It doesn't bite, it doesn't hurt. Nothing will happen. It will only take you a few extra moments. But it's l'toiv lach. It's not for my benefit. It's for your benefit. Says Hagon Rabbi Sion Abba Shaul. So you make 100 brachas a day, which is very easy, by the way. 19 brachas of Shemona Esrei times 3, 57. More than 20 brachas HaShachar, 77. Brachas Kriya Shema, Sukkot Zimra, you're already over 80 before you ate one Danish. You're already over 80. So it's pretty easy on a typical day to get over 100. Says Rabbi Sion Abba Shaul, Alachar Mea V'Esrim Shana, you're going to be in that heavenly tribunal. And you have some demerits, but you're going to be awaiting the moment that those wagons are going to be pulled into the courtroom with, let's make a cheshbon, 100 brachas a day. That's how many brachas a week? 700 brachas a week, 3,000 brachas a month, 2.5 million brachas in a lifetime. So you figure, I'm going to get up to the court, and I'm waiting for my millions to be rolled in, to be protection. Says Rabbi Sion Abba Shaul, if somebody makes an honest account of the quality of their brachas, out of those millions of brachas, how many of them are we actually going to be proud of? They may not be diamonds and rubies. They may be vomit and filth, if the way we could make a bracha. Maybe we'll be lucky if they find one Ziploc bag with like a bracha or two that for some odd reason we happen to have said with kavana. However, says Rabbi Sion Abba Shaul, this is something we need to think about before it's too late. Because imagine if a person would actually be careful to say the brachos slowly, clearly think about it, then in fact, La'achar Mea V'Esrim Shana, when those wagons are being pulled into the courtroom, they'll be schlepping in diamonds and rubies and jewels that we could be proud of forever and ever. So what are we learning from here? That the purpose of making brachos is not for Hashem, it's for us. It's l'toiv lach. You know what this principle is called? The Gemara in Saita says, the Kohen gives the Yisrael a bracha. So who gives the Kohen a bracha? It's very nice. Everybody comes into the shul and everyone gets the bracha from the Kohanim. And now, the Kohanim will come empty-handed? They have to stand there with their hands suspended in midair until they're almost about to collapse, and they don't get anything out of it.
You give them a yeshakayach after.
So we give them a shkayach. We get the bracha and they get a shkayach. Says the Gemara in Saita, Hashem tells Abraham, Va'avarcha mevarchecha. I will bless those who bless you. So the Kohen blesses us, God blesses them. You know what this principle is called? Hamevarech yisbarach. You ever hear that? You give someone a bracha and they say back to you, Hamevarech yisbarach. The one who gives a bracha gets a bracha. Where do we learn this out from? Look at number 22. Su'u yedechem kodesh ubarchu es Hashem. Lift up your hands and bless God. Yevarechecha Hashem mitzion, and God will bless you. So here we see a principle. You bless God, God will bless you. Says Reb David Avudraham, number 20. Ve'im toimar ma yo'ilu ha'kadosh baruch hu b'rchaiseinu. What benefit to God is our brachos? Imagine like this. Imagine you get on the knock on the door. Who's there? It's Reb Chaim Kanievsky. Reb Chaim, thanks for visiting me. What would you like, Reb Chaim? I came to get a bracha from you. Has that happened to you? How would you react if Reb Chaim Kanievsky knocked on your door and asked you for a bracha? You're like, oh, am I awake? Am I alive? So if it's surprising to you to hear that Reb Chaim wanted a bracha from you, then why in the world would God want a bracha from you? That's the question of Reb David Avudraham. And the answer is, V'yesh loimer, ein berchaiseinu ela kedei lizkois bivirchaisav. Our brachas to him are only so that we could get his blessings. Like Chazal say, Kol hamevarech misvarech. That's what the Rebbeinu Shalom says. V'yata Yisrael, ma Hashem l'gashoyim. What do I ask of you? It's l'toiv lach. You're not giving me brachas because I need your brachas because I want to make money. I ask you to give me a bracha because I want you to make the money. Anyway, Rabbi Sai, in the schus of our learning the subject, Nei Hashem, give us Yad Shmaya to elevate and enhance the quality of our brachas, and it should be a schus for all of us, for Shefa, bracha v'atzlacha. Have a great Shabbos.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.